So the other day we walked out into the parking lot and there was a group of young kids playing basketball, and I went up to them and I said, "Hey, come over here, meet Alan and Max. They're here doing Bible studies. You guys should participate in the Bible studies with us." And one of the kids, he was holding the ball, and he looked at me like if I had two heads. He said, "Oh, I'm Christian." And I said, "Yeah, so are we." I think there's this big question about what it means to be Christian and what it means to be Catholic that just needs to be clarified for everybody. A Christian is somebody who follows Jesus Christ, somebody who follows the ways of Jesus. It's a Christian. We're followers of Christ, just like American is someone from America. A Christian is someone who follows Christ. But where does this word Catholic come from? Why are we Catholic? And what makes us Catholic? What does Catholic mean? A lot of you may know, but a lot of you may not. Catholic is originally a Greek word, katholikos, right? Something like that, katholikos, with a K. And it's an adjective. It means universal. That's all it means. So Catholic means universal. We are the universal followers of Christ, because we're not just the Israeli followers of Christ, or the Syrian followers of Christ, or the Spanish followers of Christ. We are the universal followers of Christ. And if you've ever watched the Pope give a talk or do an event with youth, you would see how truly universal the church is. You have people from India, you have people from Africa, from Australia, from Canada, from Colombia. It's who we are. Universally, we follow Christ together. So what happened with this universal church? Well, just like any family, over the course of history, it had times of division, times of disagreement, and unfortunately, people started to split away from the universal church. So one of the major ones happened in the 11th century when the empire in the Byzantine part of the world started to develop, and they split away from the Roman part of the world. So you had the Roman Christian church, led by the Pope, and then you had the Eastern Christian Church, which today we call the Eastern Orthodox, led by their patriarch. That was like sort of the first major split. And then what happened later was in the 16th century, so in the 1500s, there were, well, let's just say there were a lot of problems in the Catholic Church and the people who were following the Pope. Just like anyone with power, there was corruption and abuse of that power, because we are sinners. We are a church made up of sinners. People are like so surprised when a Catholic is a sinner. It's like, oh, you're Catholic. You can't curse, you can't drink, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's like, no, we're Catholic because we're sinners, because we're human. So the Catholic Church, made up of sinners, made up of humans, had some corruption. And there were people within the Catholic Church like Martin Luther, like Zwingli, like John Calvin, who looked at the problems of the church and said, well, we're going to go start our own church. So they split off from the government of the church. So you have things like the Lutheran Church, the Calvinist Church, the Anglican Church by King Henry VIII. So in the 16th century, you had a lot of reforms and changes, and that started all these different little churches. Today in the United States, there's over 33,000 denominations. So yes, you have the Catholic Church, the Lutheran Church, the Episcopalian Church, but then you have, Pastor Bob's church on the corner, because he said, oh, well, I don't like what they do, 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 so I'm going to start my own church, right? So being Catholic means we are part of the universal church under the authority of the Roman Pontiff, the Pope, and we believe as Catholics that authority was given directly from Jesus to Peter, to St. Peter. Peter, you are rock, and on this rock I will build my church. Remember, Peter's name was actually Simon, and he changed his name because he gave him a new mission. He took them up to Caesarea Philippi, and he said, Simon, who do people say that I am? And Simon replied, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And he said, and you are Peter, Petros, you are the rock upon which I will build my church. And you can look it up on Wikipedia. It's amazing. I mean, it's like, it's right in front of you. Like, I don't understand why people don't see it. You can see the lineage, the succession of popes from Peter all the way down to Pope Francis. Christ and his church are inseparable. It's impossible for us to say, I'm a Christian, but I'm not of the church. It was Jesus' desire to establish a group of followers that would continue his work on this earth. That's why I'm Catholic, because studying that history and looking at it, I said, oh my gosh, if I want to follow Christ, if I want to be a Christian, well, it means being part of Christ's universal Catholic Church. God bless you.